So I'm basically going to use the same categories that I did in my last video. If you want to watch that one, I'll leave the link here. Go watch it and come back to this one. A lot of the books go into different categories though, so I kind of used it as a loose way to structure the video. And the first thing we're going to look at is my favorite illustrators. Now, I'm missing off my very favorite illustrator, John Bond, but I do have 5 of his books in my last video. So, sorry, John, you're not in this one. But I do have a really nice bundle of books we're going to look at here. Let's start with Rebecca Green. So this is How to Make Friends with a Ghost, something I aspire to. It's never happened yet, but one day. And I love Rebecca Green. I have been following her for years. I love her blogs. I love her illustrations. I constructed her gouache palette and I made a whole video that was basically a love letter to Rebecca Green. This one here, I really love the muted colors and I love her characters. And of course, it's traditional. You can see all the beautiful texture in here. And we love a traditional book, guys, especially with the rise of AI. Digital art still has a place, I think. I think it's still great, but traditional will always have my heart. Next up, we have Leina and the Lord of the Toadstools, illustrated by Júlia Sardà. And I love Júlia Sardà. She is one of my absolute faves. I think I just found her in my last video that I think that was like 2022. So since then, I've got 2 more of her books. This is definitely not a style I would ever do. Like, it's so detailed. The work is kind of like dark and it's very decorative. But I just think it's so gorgeous and I really, really love her work. Also, these are not, some of these are written by different authors. Some of them are written by the illustrators. I'm going to try and leave everything below in the description this time. I didn't do that last time, so I'll make the effort this time. So next up we have Rodin, who I just found maybe like a year or 2 ago. This is the second book I have, and the first book is in this video right at the end, so keep an eye out for that one. So this is an adventure for Lia and Lion, and I really love the colors, the textures. It's traditional as well, and I think just that how textural it is and just how beautiful all of the pages are. It's like each page is basically a work of art in itself. And not this book, but another one of his I actually tried to do a master study on, and it was really very difficult to figure out all the different colors and the textures and the layers and everything, but it was really fun. So that's Rodin. Next up, probably a classic, is John Klassen. This one is called The Skull, and it's kind of like a bigger book. I don't know if it's a picture book per se. It's more of a kind of a chapter book or a comic almost. But I love John Klassen. I don't know if there's anyone out there that wouldn't love John Klassen. Like, his work is just so simplistic and so, I don't know, is it symbolic is kind of what I'm trying to think of. Like, the shapes and everything, it's just gorgeous, and the texture. And I know that there's a lot of copycats out there. I spoke about it in my last video too. But I have a few of his books and I want to collect them all one day. He's definitely top 10 illustrators. Another one high up on the list. This is the only book I have in this video. It is Begin Again by Oliver Jeffers. I did have about, I don't know, 8 books in my last video from Oliver Jeffers. I just love Oliver Jeffers so much. His work is amazing. And can we just look at this pink? How can you resist? How can you resist in neon pink? So this one here, it has his classic like handwritten fonts, beautiful illustrations, and the story is amazing as well. I just love his work so much. Okay, I also just want to say, does this book make me like purple? Maybe. If anyone could do it, Oliver Jeffers could do it. And the last one on the list is Emma Carlisle, and I wanted to include this one in my last category, which we'll get to in a minute, but I included her here because I really love Emma Carlisle. Her work is so gorgeous. I've been following her online for years, and her books and her illustrations are basically kind of what I want to do, like nature, beautiful traditional work. A lot of this is a story, but also it's kind of more in the realm of nonfiction. And I think she wrote this as well, and her other one, and it's just beautiful writing as well as illustration. So if you haven't checked out Emma Carlisle, definitely do, because her work is gorgeous. Next category is nostalgia. I only had one book in my last video, but I've collected a couple now. And these are kind of books that I remember from my childhood or are kind of older illustrations from another time, and they're just a little nostalgic. They just kind of remind you of the past. The first one is Pinny's Holiday. I actually found this one in a charity shop, and I immediately got like flashbacks from my childhood because this book I had when I was a kid, and it was written and illustrated by Racey Helps. I think it's quite 1970. So yeah, it's fairly vintage, I think. It's like a longer story than a traditional children's book these days, and I think all of these must be watercolor illustrations with some ink illustrations here. But it's just a beautiful book. I remember like this page in particular when they're going down the river and they're going over the waterfall in a barrel. It's just a lovely little book. So next up we have Madeline, and the sticker on there says celebrating 80 years of Madeline. So this is quite an old book. I don't actually know when it was published. Let's have a look. 1952. So yeah, quite old, but classic. Classic book, classic illustrations. Look how simple these are. Like, I don't know if, I mean, this is more detailed, but just the line work, the characters and everything, the like two-tone effect of some of these pages. I don't know if that wasn't an illustrative kind of style, or maybe they were just trying to save on ink. I don't know, but I really like it. A lot of this it's just kind of like messy. Would this be made today? What do you guys think? I think yes, but maybe it would be more kind of niche, like a niche. It wouldn't be it wouldn't be like as popular as some of the more highly polished children's books out there. I really like it though. I think it's really cool. The story's nice too. And the last one is actually not a book from my childhood. I don't ever remember this book. I don't think I've ever read it. I just loved the kind of retro illustration style, so I thought I could include it in this section. So this is Harry the Dirty Dog. It's illustrated by Margaret Bloy Graham, and it was published in 1956. Looks like illustrations by 1956, and you can kind of tell like it has this gorgeous retro style characters, and I love the boldness of it, and it only uses a few colors too. It looks like it's done with ink, maybe watercolor, maybe even pastel with some of these textures. It could be just watercolor though. Does he get clean at the end? You'll have to get the book to find out, I guess. The next category is kind of chunky, and it's kind of books that I didn't really know where else to put. Cute stories, cute characters, just books that I picked up because I thought they looked nice, but not for a very specific reason. The first book is A Practical Present for Philippa Pheasant, which has a lovely ring to it. You gotta love some alliteration there. It's by Bryony May Smith, and I love the illustrations in this one. This is the why I chose it. It's not really the style I would choose to do myself because it's a very it's kind of realistic but stylized, but it's really, really gorgeous. The lighting, and it looks like very traditional. It looks very English, like very English. If I saw this book and maybe I was living in another country, it would make me a bit homesick, I think. I can't even tell you what this book is about. I read it when I bought it, but I can't remember. Sometimes I buy books just for the pictures, and I would say actually I normally always buy books just for the pictures. The story is nice when it's nice, but it's really secondary to me. I don't know if I should be admitting that. The next book is The Fairy Garden, which is a very different style than anything I would normally be drawn to, just because it's so sweet and delicate. But I really, really love this book. Something about it, it kind of gives me an open feel, if that makes sense. Like, it feels like I'm in nature. I don't know if it's the colors or the character design, but something about it makes me feel like lighter. Anyway, this was by Isabella Mazzanti. I think it's about a fairy garden. The colors are really nice, but the thing that kind of drew me to it is the character design, because it's something that I wouldn't do. Like, it's very sweet. And normally I make my characters a little bit derpy, not very sweet. I also really love the pencil in here. You know, I'm a sucker for And each page is just really beautiful, like the colors changing, the detail, all the little marks and everything. Even the compositions are like really nice. How some pages are full spread. Imagine doing like a full spread just in black. I just wouldn't think to do that. And that's why I really love looking at picture books. Even if it's not in a style that I would choose to do, there's always something I can take away from it. So the next book has one of my favorite animals, a tiger. I'm obsessed with tigers currently. This one's called There's a Tiger in the Garden, and it looks like it won a prize. That's pretty good. It's by Lizzie Stewart. I think probably wrote and decorated. Decorated. Wrote and illustrated. And it's got foil on the cover, which I don't know. I'm not sure about foil, to be honest. So shiny. Again, look, all these books kind of, even though they're in different styles, a lot of the books that are my favorites have things that are very the same. So this one has a lot of traditional art in it. Look at the garden. Like, I just love this so much. All the different shapes of the trees and everything, all the mark making. I really want to get better at drawing plants and gardens and things. So when I look at books like this, it kind of makes me feel inspired, and also a little bit, how do they do that? How do you get detail into a book without being overwhelmed? Like this here, the use of like all the white space. So when you look at one of these pages back here, like this one, or the garden is kind of all up in your grill. But then here, there's so much like lovely white space, which is something that I'd really like to, I don't know, maybe study a little bit and get better at. I love the tiger here too. Kind of reminds me of the tiger who came to tea, which was in my last video as one of my favorite children's books. And this is not the same, but it kind of has the same vibe, I think. And next up, we have kind of a strange one for me. Flora and Nora Hunt for Treasure. And I think I got this one because I thought the characters were really cute and I thought the name was funny. Oh, and this buy one get one half price, so that doesn't hurt. This one's by Kim Hilliard. And it's a story about two little kittens on an adventure. I love how they introduce the characters. Flora is a cat with brilliant ideas. Nora is a cat with an organized toolbox. They sound like good friends to be with. It looks like a little bit of traditional media with the watercolors and stuff, but it almost kind of looks cut out, like they did traditional stuff, but then they did like a collage of it, digital collage, which I think is a really nice technique. I've done that before in the past. I don't know if that's true. I'm just guessing from looking at these pages. And I love pages like this, where it's like a map or a journey or something that is part of the story, but takes you out of the story a little bit. So yeah, this is a really great book for the story and also the characters, but the style as well. It's kind of so maybe I do know why I got it. It's just the front cover looks so different than the insides. It's a good book. I like it. All right, we have another tiger now. There's a tiger on the train. And I saw this book a few times in the bookshop and didn't pick it up. And then I finally thought, April, just come on, just get the book. Stop flirting. Just pick him up. I don't know who wrote. I think Rebecca Cobb must be the illustrator, because I think they normally put illustrators second. And this one's about a boy who goes on a train with his dad and sees a tiger. I think the main reason I kind of flirted with this book and I didn't pick it up for a while is because I wasn't sure about it. Because on one hand, I love the character designs. I really like some of the composition in here. Some of the the use of the white spaces, which is something I mentioned I really want to try and learn to do. But on the other hand, I don't know, something about it, I kept looking at it and thinking, why do I like it? And I don't know. I still don't know. I couldn't pinpoint. You can probably tell. I can't pinpoint exactly why I like it. Because in some books, I love the color. On other books, I love the characters. In other books, I love the style. This one, it's kind of got a little bit of everything. It's really lovely. Is it a traditional style? It looks like it is. It's really nice, actually. The colors and everything. Look at this composition here with the tiger going, like, looking down. I don't even think I could draw that, guys. So next up we have a very different style. This is kind of a collage. It's Blue Badger and the Beautiful Berry. And I flirted with this book as well in the bookshop. I picked it up and I put it down, I picked it up and put it down. I think it's illustrated by Ben Sanders. And the reason is because it uses a very similar illustration style as kind of a lot of books that I already have. And I was like, do I need another collage book for my collection? But in the end, I picked it up because I think even though it does have kind of like that digital collage look, it is different enough to kind of have its own style, like its own thing going on. The colors, especially, like look how each page has these gorgeous colors. I think they're all pretty much analogous, kind of like close on the color wheel. And then he sees the berries, and the berries are just so out there. So this is like a blueberry bear, and this is like a strawberry bear, I guess. And they meet each other, and I just think it's so sweet, like such a sweet story. Do you come here often? It's just funny. It's very simple, but I just think it's really cute. And yeah, it's just a nice little book to look at. It's very silly and it's very simple, but I think it's super cute. So that was Blue Badger and the Beautiful Berry. Next up, we have a book. It looks like I got in a charity shop for 50p. What a bargain. This one's called The Cave. So the thing that immediately drew me to this book was the price. No, I'm just kidding. It was the colors, but also I loved how simple the shapes were. And this beautiful handwriting, like handwritten font here, The Cave. And these eyes peeking out like, oh, what's the story? It's a very, I think this is a good cover to do as like as a study to see what draws people to a book. So this one's by Rob Hodgson, and I couldn't tell you what the story's about. I don't know if I've read it. Sometimes I just buy books and I look through the pictures. So it looks like there's a creature in the cave, and the wolves like come out and play, and the wolves trying to get the creature out. I have read this book. I remember it now. I love the colors though. Look at this little snowman here on this other page. The snow fox, how cute. It looks like digital collage again, which is very, I think it's like super trendy. I don't know if it's trendy now, but I feel like it was super trendy for a lot of years a while ago. So a lot of these books kind of have that same vibe. It's a bear. Spoiler alert, sorry. Yeah, that was that one. Look how different the back is, how much color and texture there is to the front. That's just strange. And then the last book is I Love to Dance, which I normally wouldn't have picked up actually. The reason why I wouldn't have picked it up, and I'm just going to analyze this for you guys, the mauve, the purple, and the font. I'm sorry, but I don't like that font. Whoever made that font, I do apologize. But the reason why I picked it up is because it's by Anna Walker, who I really love. I love Anna Walker and her illustrations. Also, it looks like I got this from another charity shop. 99p, bargain. So this one, it looks like an older Anna Walker book, and I do have a couple of hers on my last video. They're a lot more illustrative. They're a lot more full of pictures. This one's very, it feels like it's for like a younger child. It's very white spacey, but it just goes to show how you can tell a really good story just a few illustrations. And I think this page definitely looks the most like an Anna Walker page with all these lovely watercolor leaves and this beautiful red. This one's nice too with the leaves. So there's that one. I Love to Dance. Who loves to dance here? I don't mind a boogie every now and then. So 3 categories to go. We're definitely going to dig deep into the books that I like the most now. So the next category is color. And I didn't have many for this one, actually. I only had 4 little books here. So these are books that I picked up because I really like the color. It could be for other reasons too, but mainly color. So this one is The Cat Who Couldn't Be Bothered, and I picked this up in Keswick when we were there for a day trip. They have a little bookshop there, and they have books that I sometimes don't see in other bookshops. So I like to go in there and have a look. And I think this one is a book about a depressed cat, maybe. He doesn't want to do anything, and it's a very simple book. So this cat, he's all in black and white. He's a bit sad. And then other cats come into the story and they all have their own color. So like this guy is green, but then you'll see colors later on. Like look at this page. So look at this. This guy is in red, and he's like, do you want to come to a party? And the next page is literally like from this to a party. I mean, That's pretty cool. If I was a kid and I was reading this book, I would suddenly feel like I had also been invited to a party. But the cat's like, no thanks. Kind of sounds like me. They're all colourful. I think it's, I don't know, I think it's maybe an analogy or something. Maybe to teach someone a lesson. I don't know what lesson that is. He just wants to feel sad. All he wants to do is nothing. We've all been there, you know? Sometimes I feel like all I want to do is nothing too. And then all the other animals are like, me too, me too, me too. Because everyone's sad. You don't have to be happy all the time. I think maybe that's the lesson. Can we do nothing with you too? Oh, and look, they're all going to do nothing together. How sweet. So, yeah. Oh, my name's actually Gareth. I forgot that page was there. Anyway, I like this book a lot. This book's funny. It's by Jack Curland. I don't know why it just cracked me up. It's about a sad cat, but it made me laugh. Maybe that's a good thing. From very simple to very decorative is Quill Soup. I think it's South African. Yeah, because when I was reading it, I picked it up because of the colours. But as I was reading it, yeah, here we go. He's been travelling through Valley of a Thousand Hills and hasn't eaten for days. So I picked it up without reading the story. And then when I got home and I started reading it, I was like, oh, because Valley of a Thousand Hills is very close to where my dad lives. My dad and my aunts, they live in South Africa. And I grew up there. I was there for like, not long, 5 years when I was a kid. But I go back every few years to visit my family. And Valley of a Thousand Hills is really lovely. So the reason I think it kind of reminds me, when I was younger, I got given a book of African proverbs, and a lot of the style was very different than this, but it has like the same feeling, kind of the shapes and the silhouettes of different things and the animals. Yeah, it's just a gorgeous book. And honestly, I don't know even how I would start if I was going to try and make an illustration like this. Look at the amount of colors on this page, and they all work together so well. There's so much detail. Look at this beautiful lion with the dots and everything in, and how different it is from all of this color. I just think it's so gorgeous. It's such like a full, like it's so full of life and of color and patterns and shapes, and almost you don't know where to look, and you just want to look at everything. I think you could probably look at this book for an hour and you'll still find new things. So yeah, that was that one. Definitely recommend Quill Soup. The story's really lovely too inside. So from very decorative to very simple again, you can see I like everything. I like a lot of stuff. Simple, I love. Decorative, I love, but I probably wouldn't be able to do. Simple, I love. I probably could do, but I would probably like either over simplify it, or I would add too much detail, take it the opposite direction. This one is My Dad Used to Be So Cool, and I really love this book for the simple color palette, and the shapes are gorgeous too. It's kind of like a comic book almost. So this one's by Keith Negley. It's about this kid whose dad used to be cool, but now he's just like a dad. Ugh. And he used to be in a rock and roll band, and he used to be so cool, and he has tattoos. But now he's like so boring. He sold his bike. He's not in a band anymore. He just like goes to the playground, drives a car, and I just love it. I love this story. It's so fun, but also the like graphicness of the illustrations. It's just like, look at this. Look at the I feel like, look at this, guys. The different shapes of the people as they're playing, and this simple playground here, and the cars, like everything. It's something I just would never think of. And sometimes when I see books that are so completely different than the way I would illustrate, I'm just amazed. I'm amazed, astounded, jealous, but overall inspired, I think. So that's good. But yeah, that one is My Dad Used to Be So Cool. I really love it. I can kind of imagine these illustrations on like a New York, that New York magazine that everyone, what's it called? The New Yorker. Anyway, last book in the series. This one is Leaf, and I didn't really know where this book went, so I popped it into colors, because I think when I first picked it up, I picked it up mainly for the colors. So this is also Fly and iBooks, which they also did this one here, so that's interesting. This one's by Sandra Dykman, and it's about a bear, but it's very, very detailed. Again, it's not a style that I would illustrating or even think to or be comfortable illustrating. And I'm looking at it, and it's unlike this one here, which is a book that I wish I could illustrate in. This one is something that I still, even if I had the ability, like, I just wouldn't want to, because it's not like my favorite style. It's very, very detailed. The characters are a little bit too realistic, but I still really appreciate that this is like a style and that is being published and that people really like it. You know, it's still something that I can appreciate and look at and admire without wanting to do it myself. So I think this is traditional. It kind of looks traditional, maybe with a little bit of digital work put on top, but also could just be all digital. These days, who knows? Procreate brushes, Photoshop brushes, they're becoming so good. This beautiful green cyan that kind of runs through it, and how all these little orange and reds pop. So that's that one. We're moving on to one of my favorite categories, which is style. So quite a chunky one. And these are all books that have a style that I think is really unique. Maybe not something I would choose myself, but I picked it up mainly because it's like a different style that you don't see in every single children's book. So the first one's Júlia Sardà, and this is The Queen in the Cave. I did have another one of her books earlier on in the video, but I wanted to include her in this one too because I just love her style so much. I mentioned it before. It's really different than anything I would do. It's all kind of dark. It's also kind of graphical. Like, look how these little bugs, how, I don't know, they look like they would be in a tapestry from the medieval times. And she uses lots of really, really skinny lines and lots of dark colors and a limited color palette. And I just love her style so much. So if you haven't got anything by Júlia Sardà, pick one up because I think you'd really like it. And next up we have Myself, Yourself by Esme Shapiro. And this is kind of similar vibes, but a lot lighter. I don't know what you'd call this style. I kind of want to call it almost like a doodle. I don't want to say doodle though, because doodle sounds like it's not planned, not polished. But it's very like scribbly, very illustrative, and kind of doodly. Like if you had a blank piece of paper and you were just gonna doodle all these flowers and color in all the insides, that's kind of the same vibe, I think. Really, really skinny lines. No, like, it's more line than shape, and limited colors. I think it's traditional, maybe. It could be digital too. But yeah, I just really like this one. I really love the colors and the lines and everything. It's just got a very different feel than a lot of children's books out there today. So that was that one. So from very skinny lines, very neat and tidy illustrations, to something a little bit chaotic. This is Time for Bed, Fred, and it's by Yasmin Ishmael. I think that's how you pronounce it. And it's like watercolor, chaos, texture, energy. So this is about a dog called Fred, and he gets into adventures. He gets into an adventure for sure. Look at how energetic the poses are, though. It's so gorgeous. And all of this, like, he's splattering in the mud. It kind of reminds me of another illustrator who does a lot of watercolor stuff too. Her name isn't coming to mind right now. But I don't know if this is traditional, guys. I kind of have a feeling it's digital by looking at some of the way that these things overlap. So it looks like it's just using a watercolor brush, but the energy is still there. I don't know, because now I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, wait, is it? Because the way that this is blending and bleeding at the edges, we're going to need like some digital traditional archaeologists to get in on this, because I'm not sure. It's chaos and I love it. And it uses a lot of white space as well, which I really love. All right, the next one isn't really a style of illustrations. It's a style of book. I don't know what you'd call this book. It's by Emma Yarlett. It's called Nibbles, the bedtime book. And the reason I picked this up is because of the way it's constructed. So it's kind of one of those books that has a lot of stuff going on. It's got little doors here where you can open things, and it's got little cutouts so you can see the next page. And it's got some pages that are smaller than others. Like, this is literally a book within a book. So you open this book up and you're reading this book, and it's with a book within a book. So I think one day it would be really fun to do a book like this where you just have a lot of fun and you kind of construct something that's a little bit out of the ordinary. But I like it for that reason, and not so much the illustrations, which the illustrations personally aren't my style. Like, I don't know. I think they suit this book really well, but they're not something that I would be drawn to. If it didn't have like all this kind of stuff going on, I probably wouldn't have picked it up. So the next one is B, Nature's Tiny Miracle, B. I think I had one of these books in my last video as well, Brisha Tekken Trop. It's kind of collage vibes, and it's about a bee, and it's got like lots of cutouts here, so you can kind of follow the bee through the story. And it's just a nice book. These books are really nice to look at. But I kind of like, once you have one, you kind of have them all. They're just in different colors and different stories, because her style is very, very consistent throughout her books. But I still really, really like them. The next one is a book that I think a lot of us can resonate with, The Artiste. It's by Ed Veer, and it's about a little dinosaur who wants to be an artist. And I love this book for the style. It's kind of crazy. It's like cut out with traditional ink. I think this is corrugated cardboard. This looks like literal tape that they've just scanned in. And it's kind of scribbly and kind of all over the place. I think it works so well though. Like, these are illustrations, but then all around the illustrations are other tiny little doodles, and the pages blend into one another. I think it's so cool. I like when he goes into the city, and there's this bit here, which is just all these blocks, like, I was going to say shapeless blocks, and they definitely have shape, but they're like faceless buildings. There's no character about them at all. And this guy's the only one there that's colourful. Everything else is just kind of like boring, just like blocks. But don't you worry, because he gets to work and he fixes that city up. It's kind of a bit of a mess all over the place, but in the best possible way, and I really, really like it. So that was The Artist. So from one very interesting style to another very interesting style, this is Wolf Boy by Andy Harkness. It's very interesting, the style. I looked up this guy afterwards because I was wondering how he did it. I'll try to get to a page where you can see a bit better. Okay, so this here, it looks like it's all made out of clay, right? Like, it looks like it's frames from a claymation video, movie, like Wallace and Gromit or something. Carved it out of clay, set it up, set all the lighting up, and done it in 3D. So interesting. It's so different. And he has another book out which has the same style. But yeah, I probably won't get it. I just picked this one book up because the style, like, it got, like, it's not a style that I think, oh, I want to collect them all to look at the beautiful pictures. It's just one of the books that I thought I have to get that because it's so different. So yeah, that was Wolf Boy. This one here is Refugees. I picked it up mainly for the illustrations because I really loved it. They're so moody, so textural, so painterly. The story itself is kind of dark. It's about refugees and going to another country, and like, they're not welcome. But the really interesting thing about this story is that it's a poem, kind of like a poem, and you read it forwards, and it's kind of dark, and it's kind of, you know, then the refugees aren't welcome, like, people are mean to them. But then you get to the end of the book and you read it backwards, and then it goes from a story of kind of, it's like not a nice story, it goes into more positive. So you get to the bottom, and then it says, now read from the bottom to top, and then you go from the bottom and you read it up, and you can go through the book backwards too and read it backwards, and it's like a whole different story. And I thought that was such a clever idea, something that I would never think to do. And that paired with like the illustrations and also like the state of the world kind of at the moment, it really resonates, and I think it's really beautiful. So there's that one. And I forgot who I said. It's by Jose Sanabria. Probably butchering that name, I'm sorry. Sorry, Jose. Jose Sanabria. And the last one, I'm also going to be terrible at pronouncing. The book is in Italian, and I picked it up. I think it was through Emma Maliaka that she was sharing some of her favorite books, and I really, really loved this illustrator. And this book, I think it's Stefan Zafrel, maybe. Please tell me if I pronounced that terribly, and I apologize. But I couldn't find it in any other language apart from Italian online, so I just got it in Italian. I don't speak Italian, guys, but I just got it mainly for the pictures because I thought this illustrator was so cool. His illustrations are amazing. I love the different like symbols and textures and shapes he has throughout. And look at this. This is like underwater, almost. I think it's underwater. I mean, I don't speak Italian, but or nighttime. But this looks like seaweed here. This is like a building here, and I think this is like a little mermaid takes them through the underwater, and the colors, like the color change from that to that on each is gorgeous. I really love this book. Like, look at this. Look at how decorative that is. Oh, it's amazing. So yeah, I literally have no idea what this book is about, but I really like it. I love these illustrations so much, and also the way that they've illustrated around the text, or I guess illustrated to have space for the text, is really interesting because a lot of these images themselves are very detailed, but they kind of different shapes on each page to allow for the text. Unlike some of the other books where there's like an image here, an image here, an image here, all of these almost feel like 4-page spreads, just in different shapes. So guys, we've reached the last section. This one is my favorite, saved it till last. And these are books I wish I had illustrated. So books that I love so much, or I love the style, or maybe the subject, I wish I could illustrate. I mean, I don't wish I'd not like I want a time machine, but you know, a book that I wish I had done that. That looks so cool. I wish I could do that, you know. This one first, we're actually going to do a couple of nonfiction, which I think I would love to get into one day, into nonfiction. I mentioned it in my last video about really wanting to get into nonfiction, and that was in 2022, and it's 3 years later and I still do, but hey, small steps, you know, small steps by small steps. Not there yet, but maybe one day. So this one is The Big Book of Birds. Literally, could there be a more perfect book for me? I love birds. It's by Yuval Sommer, and it's just a nonfiction book about birds. And you got to turn it this way around so you can see it. And oh, now we got to turn it this way around so we can see it. All right, so basically this book is all about birds, and there's all different birds in it, and night birds, where do birds go in winter, what makes a grey owl so great, why are flamingos pink. So kind of different facts and things about different birds, and each of the pages is so cool, so full of life, and I just think it would be such an amazing book to be able to do one day. I have a couple of ideas for books on birds that I really want to do. Not nonfiction like fiction, but I think also to do a nonfiction book one day would be amazing. And I really love this guy's style as well. It's kind of collagey with some traditional, it looks like a little bit of traditional, a little bit of collage. But you can see all of the pages at the end here, which is cool. Oh, because you got to find 15 hiding places for the special egg. Fun! I'm going to have to go through and do that. One more non-fiction book. This one's called The Earth Book. I picked it up a while ago. It's illustrated by Thomas Hedgebrook, and it's a world of exploration and wonder. And it's kind of another thing that I'd really like to do one day. To do with like nature, kind of nature. Like this is geology, I think. Geology, geography, history, biology, all the sciences. A lot different than that bird book I was showing you, because it's lots of different things, but still kind of in the same realm where it's about the earth, the world, the creatures that live on it. And I think it's really nice. Like, it's a lot different than, I think it's got a lot more text than the other book, but I picked it up because I think it's a really nice reference book to have as something to kind of look at the possibilities of what an illustrated nonfiction kind of sciencey book would be. So that was that one. And then the rest are all going to be fiction. I didn't realize I had this one. I forgot about this. So this is Oliver Jeffers. He was also in my favorite illustrators and still is. But this is The Moose Belongs to Me. And the reason I picked this book as a book that I wish I could have done, this was the very first book I read by Oliver Jeffers. I read it in a library and I bought it later, and it's probably my favorite one of his books because I think the style in it is, I think it's so interesting. It's different on each, like this is using like a half tone, but It's different on kind of each page. It's so painterly. Like, look at the texture in this moose here. I just really love this book. And I love all the different colors. And look at this, like the cutout here is really cool. And some of these, even they look like photos. They're so like painterly. They look so real. It's kind of a different style than he does now. But I think it's awesome. It's definitely one of my faves. Look at this page. It's so painterly. If we took out these little characters here and the string, put it in a frame, put it on the wall, I mean, that could go in a museum, I think. Just my humble opinion. So that was This Moose Belongs to Me. And then next up we have another Rodin. And this is the very first book I got from him, Little Echo. This is the one that I tried to do a master study of a couple of pages. And it was very difficult, but I love this book so much. I love the colors, like the darkness of it, which I haven't done like a lot of dark illustrations, but I really want to, I think. And the textures and everything. And when I tried to do a master study of it, it was so difficult because I think he uses a lot of kind of materials that I don't have. Like this here is that watercolor stuff that kind of separates, granulation, I think it's called. Yeah, it's really nice. It's a really nice book. Look at this page with the map. Like this is the kind of stuff, like I was saying earlier on, like I'd love to do a page like this where it's like a map or a journey or something. It's really fun. And then last book, guys, on the list, last book is Home by Carson Ellis. And a lot of you probably know Carson Ellis, really awesome illustrator. I got this one in a charity shop for $4.99. And this book here, the main reason why I wish I could have, or wish I could do in the future, a book like this, is because it's all about homes and buildings. And I love drawing buildings and homes and different things like that. I love this one here, the really tall one. But yeah, that's like a little bus, that's a house, a little shoe. The style is lovely as well. A lot different than mine. It's a lot neater, but I really love this book. So that's Home. So these are all of the books in part 2. It's probably going to be at least a couple more years until I do part 3. But if you have any books that you want to suggest to me for part 3 or for the future, let me know. Your favorite illustrators, your favorite books, and I'll try and add some more to my collection for the next video. I hope that you enjoyed browsing through them with me. If you love picture books too, leave a thumbs up and a comment. And if you enjoyed this video and would like to support me, please subscribe. It really helps the channel out. So that's all from me today. Have a lovely rest of your week and I will catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye. Oh my gosh, I didn't know it was arm day. I think I broke my finger.